Here's some more on self-interest. If you wish to find, you must search. Got to be congratulated for being here today. You're on the search for good ideas. You're on the search for information. You're on the search for inspiration. You're on the search for camaraderie. You're on the search for human contact. You're on the search for the vision. You're on the search for making it clear. And I appreciate that. And here's what it says. If you search, you will find. It is a promise. Now here's the last one on enlightened self-interest, and we'll move on to another subject. And that is, if you wish to receive, you must give. Giving is part of the human drama that is so extraordinary, it's beyond belief. The ultimate in giving is to give your life. But short of that, giving can take on the dimensions of something that moves the human heart and the human soul. Giving is the widest, broadest, deepest, most incredible opportunity life can possibly afford. The ability to give, the ability to share, the ability to take a piece of your life and invest it in someone else's life. And here's your best chance for a miracle, investing life into life. Just take that phrase with you and ponder it. I've used it before, but it bears repeating. I have a chance today to invest my life in how many people's lives? Quite a few. No telling how many miracles might come from this opportunity to invest a piece of my life into your life, to invest a piece of my experience into your consciousness, and let the genius of your mind pick that up along with the rest of what you've heard here on this special occasion, and see if you can't transform it into a tapestry. You can't transform it into harmony. You can't transform it into activity and enterprise and business. And then you'll deserve the return. If you give, you receive. In fact, the prophet said this, it's much better to give than it is to receive. Now, for those that are not educated, that wouldn't make sense. But here's why giving is better than receiving. It's because giving starts the receiving process. That's why it's better. Giving does not mean it's gone. Giving means it's invested. What do we expect from an investment? A return. And here's the rest of it. A return multiplied. Now, here's the last part of enlightened self-interest that is so important. All sophisticated people would say, I wish to pay fair price for what the paying will make of me. Just make that note. I wish to pay fair price. You're going to be asked to pay, not just the cost of being here in time and money. You're going to be asked to pay fair price as you move through life, as you move into this opportunity, as you move out there into the marketplace. You're going to be asked to pay. But here's what you want to say. I wish to pay because being able to pay has made something of me. And that's the greatest value in life. Not what you get, but what you become. Be willing to pay this price here in time and effort and energy. A bit of your cash, yes, but the biggest cost is going to be your time. The biggest cost is going to be your energy, your effort. Putting in your language, putting in your words, using your vocabulary and your skills to the best of your ability. Investing it. Paying the price, picking up the tab. Considering the cost, yes. But the price here is very small for the return. Because the return can come back multiplied in so many ways. Not only multiplied for your income, but multiplied in satisfaction, multiplied in self-esteem. You can imagine, as I now get to travel the world, and as I get to come back here. People said to me, Mr. Rohn, the last time. They said to me a few months ago. They said to me 6 months ago. They said, Mr. Rohn, at the convention. Here's what's happened to me since then. Your words have meant something to me. I've watched the programming, and it's touched my life. I've heard it. And I've gotten value from it. Thank you so much. You see, you can't buy that with money, right? You got to go through customs. You got to get on an airplane. You got to stay in a hotel. I don't need to stay in another hotel. I don't need to sleep in a strange bed. I don't need to eat coffee shop food. But guess what? I gladly do that. I'll eat Denny's any day. If it's on the way to talk to you, any day. Small price to pay to put up with a few inconveniences. Small price to pay on a daily basis to put out the energy and to put out the effort for someone to say, your life experiences was meaningful to me, here's what's happening. Small price to pay for the return. Now that we live in an extraordinary country, now that you have a hold of an extraordinary opportunity, and now that you've got a chance to be around extraordinary people who share among themselves extraordinary ideas, there's no reason why the small price that it's going to cost here in time and effort and energy cannot give you a return beyond your imagination. Little did I know growing up in the farms of Idaho that the return for me would be so gigantic. Little did I know when I met my mentor at age 25 that by paying that bit of price of rearranging my philosophy and paying a bit of the pain of giving up the blaming someone else and taking the blame myself, that bit of pain that I had to go through accepting full responsibility, the bit of pain I had to go through learning those skills, the bit of pain I had to go through doing it over and over, learning the skills of communication, learning the skills of recruiting and sales, learning the skills of organization, learning the skills of enterprise, the bit of pain I had to go through. Little did I know back then how small the price was going to be compared to the incredible return. And I promise you that will happen for you. If you will carefully here pay this price. If you will consistently here pay this price. If you will conscientiously here pay this price. I promise you, the reward will come in dimensions that you cannot now imagine. You will have places to serve. You will have places to go. You will have people coming back to you as the years unfold saying, you've touched my life, you've touched my health, you've touched my family, you've touched my future, along with your bank account that grows. That's not the most important thing to grow. Here's the most important thing to grow: self-esteem, self-worth, self-judgment that says, I paid the price, the return is mine, it tastes sweet, and it's not just the money in the bank, it's not what you can count in terms of coin. It's what you can count in terms of heart. It's what you can count in terms of soul. It's what you can count in terms of friendship. It's what you can count in terms of relationships. It's what you can count in terms of someone smiling in your face and saying, you're meaningful to me. You've been valuable to me. When you add all of that up, it's beyond rubies. It's beyond diamonds. It's beyond millions. It's beyond treasures hidden away in the earth. It's beyond all other value, this kind of value that's shared among human beings. That's why I'm here, right? I'm not here for the money. Don't need the money. I'm not here because, I just love to travel, right? I am here to make an investment. And the drama of payoff for me, especially the last 25 years, has been so extraordinary that to have a chance one more time to come here and make a deposit of my experience, I wouldn't have missed the opportunity. I wouldn't have missed it. Whatever I had to do to get here. Fly all night, fly all day. Take care of whatever tasks need to be taken care of, right? When I finally discovered this morning my suit need ironing, guess who ironed it? Guess who pressed it? I did. Pressed my own suit. Pressed my own shirt. I thought sure they'd be okay, but I didn't check till this morning. You're supposed to check the night before, and I was a little late. So sure enough, this morning, before the proceedings were underway, I'm up there with the ironing board. You should see me. I'm a sight to see. I am not good at it. In fact, it probably shows. I appreciate that. But guess what? I gladly do all that. To have a chance to come here and invest one more time, share my experiences one more time, enjoy the success already achieved here one more time, but also to see if we can't labor faithfully with our minds and with our attention and see if we can't grasp a bit more of life, the essence, the opportunity, the chance, and see if we can't blend that with our ability, our eagerness, our willingness to commit and be faithful to a cause and see what it'll do for ourselves and our family and the people we care most about, make a contribution to the country and who knows, eventually to the world. I wouldn't have missed that chance. That's why I'm here, and I know that's why you're here, and we're going to carry on. For some of you that are here for the first time, I should probably just briefly tell my story. I grew up in Idaho, farm country. My father still lives there on the old homestead. He just turned 92 a few months ago. And I was on the other side of the world, but when I got back home, just a little while back, he was so proud to show me he got his driver's license renewed for 4 years. Till he's 96. So he's excited about that. Anyway, I went to high school, this little farm community, southwest Idaho. Our farm overlooks the Snake River. Neat place to grow up. I was born in Yakima, Washington. But my parents moved to Idaho when I was 1 year old, so I grew up there. And I went to high school, graduated, went to college 1 year. Halfway through my second year, I decided I was smart enough and quit. Big mistake on my part, but I made it. Thinking I'm smart enough to get a job, and at the time I thought, you know, if you're smart enough to get a job, how much smarter do you need to be? So with that bit of shallow thinking, I quit school, went to work. A little while later, with some fancy promises, got a young lady to marry me. Fortunately for me, she said yes. We started a family, and I'm out there working as hard as I can, but falling a little bit behind every year. Probably normal, living the normal average American young couple's life. But I'd made these big promises, and I was working hard and trying to make it fit. But by the time I reached age 25, I got pennies in my pocket, nothing in the bank. Creditors now calling once in a while, saying, you told us the check was in the mail. I'm getting embarrassed by all that. And really embarrassed about being behind on my big mouth promises to my family, wondering what should I do, where could I go from here? And then good fortune came my way. Difficult to describe sometimes how something remarkable happens at a particular time. But my good fortune was I had a chance to meet a rich man. Not just rich in money and wealth, but rich in ideas and rich in experience, as I found out later. A friend of mine went to work for him, and he said, you got to meet this man. And he described him, said he's rich but easy to talk to. His philosophy of life was unique. And I got so intrigued, I said, I got to meet this man. Had a chance to meet him, Mr. Schoaf, Earl Schoaf. I was impressed. He was rich, obviously. But he was easy to talk to, comfortable to be around. And as soon as I met him, I said I'd give anything if I could be like that comfortable and that rich. And what would it take to live a life like that? I was so intrigued. And then I thought, if I could just get around somebody like him, if he'd teach me, I'd learn it all. And that was my good fortune. He hired me a little while later, and I worked for him for 5 years before he died at age 49. But the last 5 years of his life, fortunately for me, I got to spend those 5 years with him. And my dream came true. He coached me, taught me. He taught me the principles. He taught me to refine my thinking. He bluntly told me the truth in terms that I could understand. He had only gone to the 9th grade in school, so he had a way of putting things in simple terms. And I got the message. And the things he shared with me during that 5 years before he died literally transformed my life. Incredibly changed my bank account, changed my income, changed my future, changed everything. And what a chance that was for me to get around someone who had the ideas and was willing to share. A lot of rich people aren't that willing to share, but I found one that was. And it was an extraordinary experience. Changed my bank account, certainly. By the time I was 31, I was a millionaire. But he changed my thinking. A lot of the things I speak about today, the origin of those thoughts came from that 5-year experience. I've expanded on it. My own experience has taught me. And I've had other mentors along the way that have added to my life, given me things to ponder and wonder about. And they have coached me and taught me along the way. But this was the beginning. Now, my parents laid a great foundation. I was an only child. You know, they spoiled me. But they also taught me, laid a good foundation that served me as an anchor all these years. But Mr. Schoaf opened up the world. and let me know that I could become anything I wanted to become. My income could change, my health could change, my relationships could change. I could do whatever I wanted to, travel the world and live an extraordinary life. He opened that all up for me during that 5-year period. So I will always be grateful for having a chance to meet someone and to spend some time with someone who cared so much about investing in someone else's life. I was the beneficiary. I promised him before he died that I would share with the people I worked with like he shared with me. And that was the beginning. I didn't know it was going to be for the public. And now I do public seminars. Living in Beverly Hills, a man said to me once, "Jim, you got to come tell your story to my service club, the Rotary he belonged to." And I went and shared this breakfast speech. They liked it. My phone rang 2 more times that day. And I started spending some time talking now, little talks, breakfast talks, luncheon talks for the public, for these service clubs, outside my own business. And liked it very much. Then one day a man said, "If you'll come talk to my management and salespeople, I'll pay you." And that started a whole brand new career, speaking for companies, corporations, as well as for the public. But it started with this man who was willing to impart to me his teaching and his training over a 5-year period. And some of the notes that I'm now about to share with you, you'll find, I'm sure, some identification with, because the little company he had me start with that he was a part of was called Abunda Vita. Abunda Vita was a little multi-level company, we called it back then, network marketing we call now, and that was the first time I had ever seen the increasing discount schedule. And my mother had studied nutrition, so I was interested in nutrition, and this little Abunda Vita program was a nutritional product, and here's what we called it, a nutritional support system. When you eat a plate full of food, you can't be sure that you've gotten all the vitamins and minerals. So if you take these 2 greens and 1 yellow, now that erases the question mark, and now you're sure. And so I started with that little product and got introduced to network marketing. Now, he got me to building homes and developing land. I built homes in Arizona and a few other enterprises. But what made the most impact on my life was my association with him in network marketing. And he sold me on the fact that I could make a fortune, farm boy from Idaho, raised in obscurity to the rest of the world, limited education, 1 year of college, that didn't matter, that I could use this new plan. And back then, the increasing discount schedule and network marketing was fairly new. One of the old originators was Nutrilite. Nutrilite was the forerunner of the big daddy now, Amway. But it was just getting started back there in those early days. The increasing discount schedule, multi-level, home-based business, start part-time, and I learned it. Now, I've done a lot of other things in terms of enterprise, from fine jewelry to the taco business, and you can't be much more diversified than that. To personnel agencies, to land development, to building homes, to whatever intrigues me around the world. But the massive effect on my life was Mr. Schoaf and his simple philosophy of taking personal responsibility, and that the greatest value in life was what you became, not what you got, and being exposed to multi-level network marketing. It was absolutely extraordinary. I got so excited, I could hardly sleep nights that first year. I multiplied my income by 5 first year. I started part-time. My first goal was to make as much money part-time as I was making on my full-time job. I did that in about 4 or 5 months. My next goal was to make twice as much money part-time as I was making full-time. I did that in about 7 or 8 months. Now I'm still reluctant to go full-time. And the reason? I didn't want to give up my story. if I could show you a way to make twice as much money part-time as you're making full-time, would you be interested in at least taking a look? I'm telling you, I could recruit anything that breathed. At least I could get them to look. So finally, it didn't make sense not to go full-time, but I was reluctant. I wanted to keep that story, making twice as much money part-time as I was making full-time. Now, I didn't have much of a challenge because I wasn't making that much money. By the time I ended the first year, though, I did multiply my income by 5. Now, it didn't take all that much to multiply it by 5 because I was a clerk in a store working for Sears when I met Shof off the farm, so I wasn't doing very well. But anyway, what a drama that was on my life. And my other enterprises are all special to me, and all the things I've done. Mr. Shof gave me an entrepreneurial idea. He said, find a uniquely talented person and build a company around him. My home building company in Arizona was such an enterprise. And give them a piece of the action, set it up and go for it. What a time saver that turned out to be later. Because I used to start something and try to find somebody. He said, no, find somebody and then start something. So I did that. And now, of course, in Idaho, it's agriculture and livestock. My neighbor and I are going to probably put a little vineyard in. Idaho's getting to be famous now for its wines. A little place called Saint Chapelle. Neat little place. And so all that diversity. But the drama that changed my life and still affects my life, and the people I love to spend the most time with are people like you that find this kind of opportunity that has such a magnificent reach and does so much in terms of exposing you to ideas for personal development, setting goals, leadership, and all the rest of the skills that are difficult to come by working in orthodox corporate America. Now, orthodox corporate America is part of the stability of America, and it's part of the scene, it's part of the marketplace. But the dynamics, especially in the last 50, 60 years of network marketing, giving a chance for what I've been teaching kids now for a lot of years, for capitalism to flourish at the grassroots level. A senator asked me not long ago, what is it about multi-level? What is it about network marketing that makes it flourish so well? And here's what I told him for your notes. I said, it's grassroots capitalism in action. And I was exposed to that at age 25, how to turn pennies into fortune. Now, years ago, it used to be franchising, but they finally got out of reach for the average person to reach for. So along comes network marketing, a chance to turn desire into riches. Napoleon Hill wrote the book, Think and Grow Rich. And here's part of the essence of the book, how to turn desire into riches. Now, there's some steps in between desire and riches, but you begin with the desire. And that's what's phenomenal about network marketing, a chance to turn pennies into fortune, a chance to turn nothing into something, a chance to truly make the American dream come true by participating in capitalism at the grassroots level. I learned all that when I was 25 years old. I was so stunned by the increasing discount schedule marketing plan. That first night, I was up till at least 3 o'clock in the morning, and I made about $2 million. I'm telling you, on paper. Now, it's a little more difficult to pull off in person. But that first night, I was absolutely dazzled beyond belief. And I played, as you have already played, right? The what if game. What if I had 3 and if they each had 3? What if I had 5 and they each had 5? What if I had 10? What if I had 100? What if I had 100 and they each had 5? And those 5 each had 2? I'm telling you, that first night I became wealthy.